Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Now back to Clint and Sean on Sackheads Radio, radiating elegancy and quality.
347-205-9399 is the phone number. We're simulcast tonight on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and here on Blog Talk Radio. Thank you very much for joining us. So, Ray Nagin, you remember him?
Ronald Reagan? Yeah, great president. Greatest president our country has ever had, second only to George Washington.
Ray Nagin. He's the former mayor of New Orleans.
Oh, yeah, him.
Yeah,
led his city through Hurricane Katrina, was the sweetheart of the Democratic Party, should be running for president soon.
Yeah. So he's been convicted of corruption.
No!
20 or 21 federal counts, including federal corruption charges, bribery, marking. Remember all the national profile he got for Katrina and just how...
Yeah, like I say, he's the sweetheart of the Democratic Party. Somebody said that. Oh, I think it was you.
So essentially, all the money that he got, he gave to certain people, accepted bribes, took trips and other gratuities from contractors in exchange to help get the money to do city work while he was in the office. Isn't that nice? Here's this guy who was absolutely like, they were putting him up on a pedestal. I was convinced that he was going to probably be, I don't know, run for at least House of Representatives, Senator. He was kind of Cory Booker before Cory Booker was Cory Booker.
What?
Well, you know how Cory Booker became the sweetheart of New Jersey?
Are you talking Mr. Bookman?
No, Cory Booker.
That was from Good Times.
Good Times, Mr. Bookman.
Okay.
Different guy.
Okay.
But, yeah, so he was on that rise, and then the corruption hit, and he was the guy, he slammed the federal government, he slammed President Bush, and they're not doing enough for us, blah, 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 blah. Even though there were buses there 3 days ahead of time telling them to get out. So, you know, it's nice to see reality actually take hold every once in a while. And listen, he was a corrupt mayor, and anyone who follows at all New Orleans politics or even read it once in a while, tell you it's one of the most corrupt cities in the country, if not the most corrupt. It's up there as far. It's close to Chicago.
Should we have a sack? I was just going to say, should we have a sackhead poll? Which city is more corrupt politically, New Orleans or Chicago?
In the chat room right now.
Or Washington D.C.
What's your vote? Is it Washington D.C.? No, everyone's going to say.
Everyone's going to say Washington D.C.
As far as local government, Chicago or New Orleans, what do you think is the most?
And why?
And why? Oh, everyone's already saying D.C. in the chat room.
Told you. I pretty much nailed that. And I'm done for the night. A man on the street bit, and I pretty much nailed that question right there. Sean, it's all you. I'm out.
Okay. Moving right along.
Hey, so speaking of Navy.
Nice segue. It's good to tie everything together like
thanks.
that.
You like that?
Yeah, that is just radio show.
Okay, how's this? So speaking about the currently insignificant, how's that?
Oh, I like that.
You like that one?
Good.
Is that better? The Iranian Navy, both of their ships, are sailing towards U.S. waters. So that's good.
Why would you send both? Don't you want one in reserve?
I don't know. Well, I think they still have a rowboat. I don't think they sent the rowboat.
Oh,
so have you seen this story? Okay.
No, I have.
All right. So the Iranian Navy is sending it's actually one of their fleet. I think it's like the Northern Navy fleet. They're sending the frigate Sabalan.
Northern and the Southern.
I guess.
It's going to be sending both. It's going to be both ships.
It's got to be both ships. They're sending a frigate, the Sabalan, and the Karg, which is a supply ship.
Sabalan, wasn't that the one that...
it was attacked by an A-6 intruder.
Yes, after a mine was hit back in '88, I think it was.
It was '88, but I think the ship actually fired upon an A6 intruder, which was flown off of the USS Enterprise, and the A6 intruder said, "Oh, hello, little friend," and proceeded to decimate the ship. Iran rebuilt the ship and is sailing it around South Africa and towards U.S. waters. And I guess that's probably significant. The fact that they picked that ship to sail close to U.S. waters is interesting. But how did they make this decision? And here's how I picture it happening. I picture two Iranian admirals. I don't even know if they have two admirals, but maybe like an admiral.
No, they have
and a
like
captain.
3,000 of them.
I don't. Yeah, that's a good point.
Conference?
That's true. Everybody has bling.
Right. Seriously, they have spinners on their boat.
What is that? Iranian bling? What are you? So I can picture two of the admirals sitting together and say, okay. I can't even,
you need to do it.
I need to do it? I don't think so.
Yeah.
It sounds more Russian than it does Iranian. So you be the Americans, and I will be the Iranians, and this is your setup. B5. Miss. A6. My rowboat. I told you we can take the Americans. You are the Americans.
Sail away.
And so that's how it went down. See, hey, we can beat them in Battleship. I say we go for it, boys.
That was in no way practiced or rehearsed. So the Iranian Naval Command issued a statement, essentially, and I quote, this is just amazing, that these are the people, by the way, that we enter into a nuclear negotiation with, and we take them seriously.
Yeah.
Not everyone listening, but our administration is actually taking them seriously. Mm-hmm. When somebody says the Americans consent by all means how their warships will be sunk with 5,000 crews and forces in combat against Iran and how they should find its hulk in the depth of the sea, said Iranian Revolutionary Guard Navy Commander Extraordinaire Esquire CPA LPC.
Sabadu.
Hold on, no, this is just his title. Ali Fadaya, in a statement put out by FARS, which is their state-run newspaper.
It's the equivalent of the White House media. So here's what I would do if I were president. I would take the USS Constitution.
The actual ship.
The actual ship.
Oldest commissioned ship in the Navy.
Oldest commissioned ship in the Navy. I would
take it for a ride.
I'd take it for a ride. I would sail it right over there. I'd fire one of the cannons, but then I'd have like an A6, like completely out of sight.
Yeah, F-15.
Yeah,
just waiting to go.
Blow it up and just watch the other ship see this old sailing vessel fire a cannon.
The puff of smoke,
and then
the
other
ship
just
explodes.
Decimate.
Think about what that would do, because think about what that would do to their mindset.
Oh yeah,
you have this old wooden vessel,
right? Yeah, just from the cannon, just a puff of smoke.
Well, so he's not the only.
There's a reason, apparently, that I'm not president, because to me that sounds like a freaking brilliant idea.
Well, I think we need to go back to the letters of marque brought up by then Senator Ron Paul, and start issuing them and see what happens. But he's not the only person this week to say something out of the Iranian government. The defense minister, Hossein Dekhan,
are you okay?
Said Iran's military was now being positioned to respond quickly and successfully to an American attack. The Iranian armed forces are intertwined in coherent complex that can give a decisive response to any threat at any level, at any place, under the commander-in-chief. Hold your jokes, folks.
Under which commander-in-chief?
The enemy can never assess and think of the range of the response given by the powerful, mighty armed forces of Islamic Iran. Now, first of all, if you go to Jane's website, or if you just Google Iranian military.
Wait, did you say Jane's website?
Yeah.
I've been to that one before. I had to have my safe
search on.
Oh, okay, that's a different Jane's website. I don't know.
If you look at the rundown of what Iran is believed to have, a lot of them, like a lot of their aircraft are former F-14s, and I think there's a couple of other.
They're former F-14s, so what are they now, like F-13 and a half?
No, they have another name for them, but they used to be F-14s. But if nothing else, is this not a referendum on our international diplomacy or lack thereof, and just how weak this White House and we can go back and forth as to why they're doing it, but I think at the end of the day, it's just how weak our White House is, and the fact that these idiots are not afraid. They're not afraid. They want to. According to them, and I don't even know if they listen. They may not have enough two-stroke oil and gas on the ships to get it all the way over here to America, but they want to try, and I almost believe them because they know we will do nothing if they come into our waters.
Right.
And then they're going to be able to sail back and tell everybody in the completely media-controlled countries back there that they went up against us completely, and we did nothing. We were so afraid, we did nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. This isn't by design. Look, I mean, Obama is a weak foreign policy president. He is.
Right.
And he is not taken seriously around the world.
By anybody.
By anybody. People don't think he's going to make the decision and do anything. Listen, if I'm going to go back to if I were president. If I were president, vote for me 2015, sorry. If I were president and a country threatened us and they came towards our waters, the second they crossed into U.S. waters, based upon that threat, they would be burning hulks and be at the bottom of the ocean. They would.
It ties into our first story about the 2 Army lieutenants.
And then then nobody would screw with us again, because then they would say, "Hey, we built 2 more ships. Should we sail it over there?" No.
Right. Yeah. Not even close.
No.
As a matter of fact, keep it in dry dock just in case they're in our Gulf.
Right.
I don't want any part of it.
Right. And if they are in our Gulf, then we're just going to stay in dry dock.
And then they can't shoot us down.
And
we win.
Right. See? They're afraid to come into a dry dock. Their Navy can't sail into our dry dock.
They haven't figured that out.
They haven't figured that out yet.
There's an airplane coming. Well, now we're all screwed. Forget it. So it's a total referendum, and at some point, and I know, listen, I was talking about this with somebody, and they said, well, there's no reason to be afraid of Iran. No, I'm not afraid
That's not the point.
Right.
That's not the point. It's kind of like, are you going to allow the same kid in school to come up to you and spit on your shoes every day?
Right. Even if he doesn't oppose any threat.
At some point, you have to knock him on his ass and say, stop, knock it off. Right? You can only say, stop it. Stop it. Please stop it.
Oh,
stop
goodness,
it.
Please.
Oh, stop it. I have to clean my shoe now. Stop it.
And after a while, you can't just play, oh, that's only Johnny. He's just Johnny.
Right.
At some point, people need to be held, countries need to be held accountable for their actions. And when they say these absolutely insane things and about us being at the bottom of the ocean and hulks.
It's insane to us, but they mean it.
They do mean it, or they might mean it. It doesn't matter if they do actually mean it or not. They express that they mean it, and that's all I need. I don't need a guy to hold a gun to me and say, I'm going to shoot you before I go, all right, now I'm not waiting for him to start pulling the trigger.
But they have the gun, right? The gun is their warship.
As soon as they pull that gun, and all they have to do, honestly, I don't know what they have for rocket and missile technology. What if they tip a dirty bomb? All they have to. What if they get close enough to send it? Who knows? Or if they have a helicopter packed with explosives? Yeah, we're going to be close enough that we're going to be watching, but who knows what these mindless idiots who are absolutely out of their mind have their intentions. And we can only be the...
And obviously the White House has... Is that who you're talking about?
No, in this particular situation, I was talking about the Iranians.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hear mindless idiots, and I immediately start thinking Jay Carney and the White House and all this other stuff. So I apologize. That was my misunderstanding. Look, okay, if you don't... Listen, Mr. President, if you don't want to send the Navy because it costs a lot of money, you don't want to spend the fuel to watch them or whatnot, let's send one ship. Let's say you don't want to send the Constitution. Okay, I get it. It takes a long time to sail a ship like that.
Get her up and running.
Right. Can't we send, like, just one Coast Guard cutter? Yeah. Let's send the Coast Guard to sink that.
You know what we...
that way our Coast Guard took out their northern fleet.
You know what we should do? And if I was Commander-in-Chief, this is what I would do.
Go.
We have satellite technology.
Yes, we do.
We know where their boats are. We should know where their boats are.
You're talking about us, meaning Sackheads Radio, because we do have that technology.
We do have satellite technology.
And we do know where their boats are.
I meant our Navy.
Okay. I'm sure they have it too.
You send them a picture and put it on the internet. The U.S. Navy, put it on the internet. Hey, Iran, we know where you are, and guess what? There's a sub nearby. That's it. And watch how quickly those directions change.
But they wouldn't, because they'll say, yeah, so what? Obama is the president. You won't fire on us. And then you take another picture of one ship, like, gone. Like, just Photoshop it out and say, we now have the technology to make your ship disappear. Do you think they have Photoshop in Iran? Think about how that would screw with their head. The other ship, I am looking right at it. No, you cannot. It's gone. It's gone? Yeah. You heard about the Philadelphia experiment, right?
The same type of
thing. We made that happen. The reason you can see it is because you're gone, too. You just don't realize it. Let's screw with their heads.
I agree with you.
Maybe we are gone.
Well, it's possible we're not even here anymore.
Right.
Don't touch me. Do I feel weird? I'm not touching you.
Where are the virgins? I mean...
It's just insane.
No, I was asking you. You said they were going to be here at a certain time.
We keep going in these circles with Iran, and it's been going on since the 80s, essentially, since the Iran hostage situation, where we keep trusting, or at least say we're trusting, that we're going to go along. They're going to do the right thing. Oh, they're going to do the right thing. They're going to do the right, and then all of a sudden they don't, and we're always like, well, how could this possibly happen? Again,
do you remember when Gaddafi was getting loud and Reagan sent some A6s over to say hello?
Ding dong, Moma, rise and shine. Right to his front door.
Right. Killed his son. Right. Muammar Gaddafi did not want to play anymore.
Right.
He was batshit crazy. He'd say crazy stuff and talk at the UN for hours. And
at the end,
but he didn't want to play anymore.
At the end, I thought he was a riot.
Yeah,
because he was like a rock star world. Like he was bizarre.
But he didn't play anymore. Well, you didn't hear boo from him again.
Listen, same thing happened in Syria.
Am I wrong?
No, I agree with you. Not until he took a bullet to the head. Same thing happened with Syria, when we talk all this rhetoric about, the conventional and the chemical weapons, they're gone, we're not going to use them anymore. Whether it's our fight or not, when they merged us into it, hey, we're involved now, whether you like it or not. We both agreed we should say the hell out. It's none of our business.
Yep.
But once, as a world leader, you get into that, and you're going to be that person stepping in and say, this needs to end, and we're going to end it. Here's a red line. And then you do nothing except let Putin take credit for it. And then you turn around, and as you read more and more, you find out that they're not giving up everything like they said they're going to do. Bizarre, weird. A rogue nation is not doing what they said they're going to do. Absolutely insane. So now we deal with Iran that has a longer history than Syria, because Syria was kind of in check for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Has a longer history of insanity and just crazy leaders and just not doing what they said they're going to do. And we believe that they're going to stop making nuclear weapons.
But we don't believe that.
Not you and I. You have to get over that. I mean the administration.
I don't even know if all of them believe it. Jay Carney pisses himself every time it comes up. I don't think he believes it.
Jay Carney pisses himself whenever somebody slams a door.
Jay Carney just pisses himself. I'm pretty sure.
He's a very fragile person these days.
Do you think maybe that's why?
Shaved yet?
I was just going to ask you. Do you think that's why he grew the beard?
He's just afraid.
Yeah,
because
he doesn't want to cut himself. Have like a bunch of little tissue marks on his skin.
But whether you think we should be there or we shouldn't be there, and this goes into our president making our country look weak. And listen, it's not just Iran. There's a bunch of, look at Hezbollah, look at Lebanon.
No, but Iran's the biggest one that's kind of
right now.
Their nose at us.
Because they actually have the ability to reverse engineer probably better than a lot of those other little rogue countries. And they actually could provide a threat, if not directly to us, to our allies and our troops abroad. They do have some aircraft ability. They do have some drone ability. They do have some short-range guided missiles. I mean, they do have a little bit of ability.
They are developing a nuclear weapon.
They are developing a nuclear weapon,
Yeah.
and they've had some successful test fires of the prototypes.
And look, let's face it, Putin backs them.
Oh, absolutely.
And you think that the Russians can't give them ICBM technology? Of course
they
can.
It's
or
like Iraq.
I mean,
Iraq. You remember when we went into Iraq the second time, and Russia, China, and France were like the biggest don't you dares. No, don't you go. You can't go in there. Leave those people. But, and then we got in there and we found all this equipment that were French, Russian, and Chinese that was sold to them after the embargo, and that they weren't supposed to have. So, Iran would. That's why Russia doesn't want, because that's where all their money's coming from.
Yeah, and the only reason
Russia right now has this humongous build of their military that they're planning, and they need all the money. Same reason why they're protecting Syria, to get the money. Oil to get the money from Iran. I mean, all those reasons, that's why they're protecting them.
And the only reason we knew that they were French weapons in Iraq is because they had the big white French flag painted on it. So it's just all white. I saw a version of the French flag that actually had red and blue on it.
That's weird. When did they do that?
I don't know. I didn't know that. I just thought it was always
new.
white.
Flycatch in the chat room says Iran has the capability to launch a 3-stage ICBM. I don't doubt that at all. I don't doubt that for 1 second. So
I'll really piss myself if they have the ability to launch a 4-stage one.
Yeah. I'll explain a 3-stage to you after we get off the air.
Okay. Wait, draw a picture.
But at some point we need to start looking at them. If they're going to start making these threats continuously.
We already look at them. We've been looking at them forever. This administration has just so dumbed down. I mean,
it's frustrating.
It is frustrating.
I just put my head in my hands.
When I first saw this story, I almost wanted to laugh, and then I thought about it, and it made me angry because it's they're not doing this like we would do this simply to screw with another country because we think it's funny, right? If we ran the world,
right?
They're doing it because they legitimately think that they can threaten us, and they know we won't do anything because they believe that we are weak as a nation.
Yeah, no, they absolutely believe it.
And we're weak as a nation because we are infidels.
Right, and they need, as well as I do, they need to reboost. And there was a great article, I forget where, it might have been in the Blaze, where they were talking about a former KGB, one of the highest-ranking KGB personnel defected over to us in the
Putin?
No, defected. Not still part of the
Putin?
KGB.
I figure since he's hosting the Olympics, he's friendly now.
No, and he was talking about, making America the great Satan in order to boost up their morale in their country, and that there was a huge propaganda to do that within the country, blah, 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 blah. And that's Iran is running that playbook right now. They have a country that's in a little bit of turmoil. I mean, they have a really heavy hand within their own country. But there's not a huge support for the government as much as they want to say there is. A lot of the people in the rallies are paid, blah, 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 or forced at gunpoint or whatever. And now what they want to do is they want us to sink one of those ships, and we should give it to them.
Absolutely, we
but
should.
But they want the martyrdom. They want that. They want us to lay the head down. Right. Let's give it to them.
Perfect.
And say, you know what? We don't care. We don't care if you think we're the great Satan. If you're going to come over here and you're going to push us, and you're going to if you stay over there and shut up and don't bother on it, we don't care. But once you start this, your missile program, then you start enriching uranium, and now
we're going to wipe Israel off the face of the map.
Now you start with all this rhetoric about how, you're going to destroy America, Israel, all of our allies, blah, 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 blah. Our Navy, you're going to threaten our men and women in the Navy. At some point, the line needs to be drawn. This administration needs to step up. And they laugh it off, and they do that because they want to give that impression that they always do, keep calm and kind of walk on. Everything's fine, don't worry.
Yeah, we don't take this seriously. They can't touch us. We're the big dog.
But at some point, they need to turn around and just say, hey, Iran, this has been fun and all, but, yeah, if you cross into our waters, we're going to blow you up. I don't care what you say. You can say this is an act of aggression, whatever. And then anyone else you bring over, we're going to blow it up. Oh, and by the way, if anything happens to our men and women abroad, Hezbollah acts up, Palestine acts up,
we're going to blow you up. Yeah.
We're going to completely send you back to the Stone Age, further than your mindset already is.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go in after the Ayatollah, and we're just gonna, and then we're gonna go home. We're not gonna rebuild your country.
Nope.
We're not gonna do any of that. You come and you push us. We're gonna push back so hard, it's gonna hurt, and then just walk away. And that needs to be done. This president
could do it. This president still would not be taken seriously.
Well,
he wouldn't until he sinks one of these ships, and then they'd say, "Ooh, maybe he meant it." The good thing is,
people take him seriously on our executive orders.
Look, the good thing is we have a very strong Secretary of State in John Kerry.
Stop it! I don't want to laugh for the next couple minutes. Yeah, we have Frankenstein as Secretary of State. Fire bad! Oh! Oh, man. No, and some people in the chat room, I think, are confusing what you're saying. He could do it. He has the ability, technological ability, and military ability to do it. That's what Clint is saying. He doesn't have the intestinal fortitude to do it, nor does he have the will to do it. I think a lot of people saying that feel that you're saying the president can't do it as in, like, he is going to. That's not what you're saying. We have the ability as a military and a nation to do it. The president is not going to.
Absolutely. The president's a big vagina, and we have the ability to do it. Is that clear?
That's very clear.
Did it clear up the chat room? I can't see the chat room chatter, so thank you for telling me that. I apologize if I was too politically correct in what I was trying to say, so I'll just throw it out there in a very politically incorrect way. Big old soggy vajayjay. That's
too far.
The president on this.
See, but now you get a bounce back. You have to find that.
I don't have a filter. It's off. We know this.
Iggy Mom in the chat room. I love Iggy. She's so great. One of our listeners. Even Clinton blew up an aspirin factory between interns. I love the fact that, we have all these laws that we can do to oppress in this country that he keeps passing, and all these executive actions that take away our liberty and oppress us more and more. And it is an oppression, whether anyone wants to agree with me or not.
It's tyranny.
It is. But we won't stand up to Iran. They'll call us terrorists.
Do you know why? Do you know why?
Right, because
it's
the
about
same exact playbook about making us look bad so they look good.
Exactly. No,
it's
because of equality. The president wants, in my opinion, he wants true equality, not equality in terms of how we're treated or in terms of liberty, but economic equality, and he wants it on a global level. And Iran is so far beneath us when you're talking about equality. So he will do executive orders in order to knock certain class groups down in this country, tax policies and so forth, in order to even the playing field. But if you have a country like Iran that's not as developed and whatnot, and you want true global equality, how do you do it? Do you do it by raising them up, or do you do it by knocking us down or keeping us down, which is easier to do? It's easier to knock us down rather than raise them up. Right. So it actually makes sense in that sick, twisted reasoning.
Well, in his
why
it makes sense.
That's what I mean. Why you wouldn't want to screw with a country that's maybe less fortunate than ours? We have to be friends with everybody. Big ol'
347-259-399 is the phone number.
Big ol'.
We're going to be back at 3 here in the Sack Kids Radio Show. We're going to talk about
a big ol'
the debt ceiling.
Yay!
It just gets better here, folks.
And the Republicans on that one were just a big ol'
back in 3.
Just a humongous. Just a